Hello guys, in the previous video we talked about the empirical. What is it that, makes a philosophy empirical? And that is reliance on immediate sense perception. Okay, whatever I can feel, touch, like I see those scissors, they have a color, they have a hardness, good enough. So what is the problem with this picture according to Hegel? Well, empiricism essentially comes down to these two things, okay? This arrow and this clock, all right? So, these are what empiricism is all about. Whatever I see, bam, there's this cell phone, here is my cell phone, I point to it, there's my cell phone, that is certain, that is as good as it gets, okay? And sure, and a lot of you with very basic knowledge of philosophy, if you're like an engineer or something, you think that that's as good as it gets. Sure. And then let's look at the arrow, at the clock. Why can't I change my picture? So this is our clock. So this is our empiricism, okay? Clock and arrow, okay? So whatever I can sense right here with this cute little arrow, and whatever I perceive that happens to be at this specific time, bam, that's it. That's all there is to it. This is, clear, straightforward. It's as good as it gets. And the difference between, empiricism and all this, kind of idealism, rationalism, is that, it doesn't abstract. We just deal with, what is right here, right now. So what is the problem with this empirical business? And Hegel says, well, all right, let us look at this little arrow and let us look at this little clock, all right? He would say, well, Mr. Hume, there's your little arrow, there's your little clock, and let us simply look deeper at them, So the arrow would be our, cute little space, and it is here, okay, just here. And time is now. So space is our little arrow, and time is our cute little clock, okay? So just here and now. And like I said recently, well, there's my cell phone right here. And if you think about it, well, yeah, here's my cell phone here with this little arrow, and here is my pen, and here is my wristwatch, and here is this, here is that, here is that, and there's actually this unlimited, number of heres. Like here is, it kind of overflows itself if you think about it. It's not so easy once you think about it. Here is any here. It's not a specific here. And if you think about it, there is a contradiction in the very empirical concept of the here. Like this little arrow points to this, but it could point to that. It could point to anything. It could point to an infinity. And the only way that this, here does become coherent and logical, and, the way that it does become, certain, like empiricists, claim it to be, is with the mind. It's only when you engage your mind that it becomes coherent. It's only by saying, here, when I think about it, this one that I have in my mind, this here. Like empirical concept of here is contradictory unless you involve the mind, which empiricists reject. They deny it. They say, well, it has nothing to do with the mind. It's just, physical sensation, what's out there in the world. But in order to make it coherent, and in order for it to be what empiricists claim it to be, it requires non-empirical stuff. It requires the mind. And that's what Hegel says about spatial and temporal certainty about empirical. It only becomes coherent with the subjective component. It's only with engaging the subjective, with involving your brain, your mind, that the cute little arrow stops making sense. And in the next video, we'll talk about time and get back to this interesting subject.